Hi, we're here with Sharissa Sosa, Hector Santiesteban, and C Princess O. So you can say hi to there. But we're here to talk about a little bit about your priorities and having some game changers for yourself and things that can really improve your life really quickly. So let's jump into it. But Sharissa, when you think about priorities and even prioritizing your priorities, what do you think about? What comes to mind?
I think about focusing on my results and focusing on what and backtracking on that. So, like, what's the result I want? What has to happen no matter what for me to make that happen?
So you said like being results and focusing on results. A lot of people focus on tasks and they say, I have to do this and I have to do this. What's the difference between being task driven and results driven?
The difference between being task driven and results driven is that when you're results driven, you understand the value of just having a plan and sticking to it because you know it's going to get you your results. I think that when you're task driven, you're focused on the task and less on the results. And so you're more likely not to follow through because it feels like it's a lot of work. I think the concept is very simple. It's just about having a plan to get to your result and sticking to it. However, it's not easy. It takes initiative. It takes ambition. It takes you have to really want it to follow through on your schedule even. But if you want the result, you have to focus on your priorities. So asking yourself, if this is the one result I got this week and that was it, this is the most important result that I got, what is it? Next question, what do I have to do no matter what, whether it's every day or a couple times this week for that to happen? And you always kind of have like a top priority. I think it's really challenging sometimes, some of us who want to get it all done and we have so many areas in our life that we want to improve. It's kind of hard to focus on one thing. But if you prioritize on one priority and then you think, okay, like after I get that done, then what can I work on? And after I get that done, what can I work on? And allow yourself to have boundaries and stick to it. And if you don't finish one thing, then don't move on to the next thing.
Hmm. So I like The Power of One Thing, and I think that's something that's my one of my favorite books from Gary Keller, and it's interesting. It's actually right here, so always on deck. But I think that's a really powerful question. Is what if there was one thing that you could accomplish today? What what's that one thing? And and you're right. Don't do the next thing until you get that done because that's the most important. And we could be busy, and we could always be busy in this world, and we can send a million emails, and we could do a million different things, but at the same time you can't catch two rabbits. You really have to hone in on that one thing and go after it, and then go after to the next task. So that's a really good point that you brought up.
Thank you. Hector, for you, if you could say, something that's maybe helped you shape your focus and your priority in your business, because you have a lot of, puzzle pieces in your business to make it work. What do you think have you found that's been helpful
That
as far as
asking that question.
prioritizing tasks happening? Yeah.
Asking that question, and I think the power of questions. I think we talked about that on a previous video. You can check that out. Maybe we'll link it in the notes. But it's just asking that question. What's the one thing that I could work on right now that's going to make the rest of my business easier, or make the rest of it run a lot smoother? A lot of times there is an answer, at a particular time. We live in a time where, like I said, you could do a lot of things, but there's always the most important thing. I don't know who said it. Someone famous said, there's not time to do everything, but there is time to do the most important thing. And I think that was actually Gary Keller who said that. But that's what I asked, is like, who's the one person that I need to talk to right now to make the rest of my business run smoother? What's the one area of my business that I need to improve to make my business run smoother? A lot of times it deals with people or systems, or what's the one problem I need to fix, or what's the one area I need to address. And the cool thing about asking that question is there's so many different focusing questions you can ask, it really becomes about asking the right question, and you'll usually come up with the right answer.
Yeah, I agree. If I can share one thing that's been helpful for me is in the beginning of the week, without fail, every single time I will make a detailed plan of my week. And this is before I even go to how many phone calls I need to make, how many words I need to write, how many, etc. But on a blank sheet of paper, just making a list of things that have to get done no matter what, people I have to reach out to no matter what. Something that's really important to me is relationships, right? So like asking myself, what relationship does needs nurturing this week? Like who should I reach out to? Who should I give some love to? And that a focus for your week and putting that into your schedule, and that way you're able to get so much more done if you already plan before you get into your day and know what your priorities are for the week.
So I think that's a great takeaway for someone if they want to have an action step after this is to ask themselves what do they need to get done this week? Who do they need to reach out to today? Could you go over some of the questions that you ask yourself at the beginning of the week to kind of fill in those things? You mentioned who are the people, or can you kind of walk someone through a couple of the steps that you go through to make your week?
Yeah. As far as shaping my schedule, I always review the week before. I don't have a system to review it. I just write whatever feels good to me. Okay, I followed through on this. I wasted time here. I didn't meet my sales goal. I didn't meet my sales goal. Why or why not? I always ask myself like what I'm excited for this week. And I always when I plan my week, I focus on my business and my life. I treat both because they're as equally valuable as they both are. Because you also do need peace of mind a little bit, even if you're not taking days off regularly. Focusing on nurturing, that peace of mind side and also your life at the same time, I think is very valuable because it's easy to get caught up in one or the other. Questions I ask myself: what must get done? Like non-negotiable. No matter what, I have to do this to create the result.
I call those my NMWs, my no matter what. So what's the thing that needs to
Okay.
get done no matter what, right? I think that's
Nice.
a really good thing.
I like that. And also, what am I committed to getting done this week? So results focused, right? What am I committed to getting done this week? And tying that into what has to happen no matter what. And allowing yourself to have a celebration, asking yourself like, okay, like if I did this, what would feel good to me? How can I reward myself? Or, and then if you don't do it, just have integrity and don't reward yourself.
All right. So let's recap. So we have you want to make a detailed schedule.
Yeah.
You want to ask yourself what are the most important things to get done? Who are the most important people? And what has to get done in order for that to happen? Did I have that correct?
Yes.
And did I miss anything? I feel like there's one more step. No?
Celebrate.
Celebrate.
Also, when you're focused, and I'll make this short, but when you're focused on, having your priorities straight, but like really straight, having, like we talked about earlier, you only have one real priority, right? But there's so much we have to get done. There's so many areas in our life we want to improve and grow and nourish and everything. There's so many people we want to reach out to. There's so much to do. But if you do one thing and really commit to like not doing the next thing until you really complete the first thing, whatever that is important, however, what's important to you, and focusing on kind of like creating a step-by-step and treating a job. Like if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a student, if you're working, if you're a mom, like treating it like a job and just telling yourself what to do and being a slave to your schedule, like tremendous power in that.
I love it. So you have something cool going on where if someone wanted to maybe spend 15 minutes with you and kind of get walked through this, I know I know of a few people who have kind of done a similar exercise and they've always come back raving from their conversations with you. But how can they reach out to you? How can they find you?
Yeah, I would love, if I can add value to anybody, I would love to. I'm offering like a free 15-minute call to anybody who reaches out, and we could talk about whatever you want to talk about. And there's also room. I do have availability for coaching clients if that's something that you want to think about. You can email me, sharissasharp@gmail.com. And you can find me on Facebook and my Snapchat, _Sharissa. And we can connect, and I would love to.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, guys, and we will see you later.